Cool. Everyone, welcome to Broadcast UGC Episode 3, Take 2. We had a problem before, but we're back now. I'm Galactrix, and I have with me my co-host, Duke of Rock.
Hello again, folks.
And I also have Leviathan99.
Hello.
Hello, and today we are playing Leviathan 99's mission called Yesterday is Tomorrow. Can you say something about that mission?
Well, this mission was kind of initially inspired by the TOS episode Tomorrow is Yesterday, and sort of grew out into a celebration of all of the episodes of Trek that featured the 21st century.
Cool, excellent. I'm about to join you inside the temple, uh, where you are already there. But first, I'm going to try and read the mission description again so that people have an idea of what's going on. Okay,
Lovely.
Captain, we have received a subspace communication from Vulcan. I've been informed that a monk named Korik has made an astonishing discovery. He is renowned for his work in the field of stellar cartography and traveled to Mount Solea Monastery, which is where we're going now. Okay. And I'm about to go in and hopefully join you.
And there you are.
Hello, you guys.
Okay.
And hopefully everything's going to go smoothly this time. And there's Duke of Rock. Excellent. And we just got to say again that this is a pretty cool tunnel because
I tried.
it
Yeah.
does kind of make sense when you go through that door. You expect a big long tunnel because it's going into the mountain.
Absolutely. A great view once you get out into the open here.
Yeah, I didn't notice that before.
Let's see.
Cool. Lots of NPCs.
Right, and as I said in the, I guess, pre-show now, most of the dialogue is optional.
Mm-hmm.
There's usually an option, where you can say, that's enough, I'm done talking. I included the dialogue for the sake of the people who really want the immersive background lore, but I didn't want to force it on anyone.
Right.
Understand?
And we're going to talk to this guy here, who hopefully won't crash me again. Salutations, Captain. I'm Korek, son of Tapon. Please excuse Grak here. His presence is unsolicited. He seems most fixated in obtaining a set of artifacts which came in possession of aboard a derelict freighter, I believe to be a second stone of Gol. Needless to say, if analysis bears out with these findings, it would prove most unwise to allow the artifact to fall into the wrong hands. I'm a simple monk. My life is devoted to scientific inquiry. With your assistance today, could prove most fortuitous for that work.
Basically, he's got two pieces of research going. He's got the second Stone of Gaul, and the Stone of Gaul is an ancient Vulcan weapon from TNG, and he's also discovered this freighter, which he's sending you to investigate. The Ferengi is interested in the Stone of Gaul.
Okay, and the Stone of Gor, if I remember from the TNG episode, is that telepathic weapon that
Yes.
enhances your hate or something, your anger against opponents.
Yes.
Correct.
Cool. Okay, so who do we need to speak to after this guy? Hold on. That is all.
Stay back.
Staybeck, which is somewhere.
Right over here.
Gentleman in the robe.
Ah, cool. Do you want to read this one, Duke?
Sure. Certainly. Greetings, Captain Rokari. I understand that your work with Starfleet is quite commendable, although there should be no need for violence at the monastery. Still, the disruption to our planetary weather grid is curious. I have been appraised that trouble has a way of finding you, Captain, although I find that notion to be highly illogical.
So, if you get into the optional text, basically what you find out is the planetary weather grid is having some suspicious activity. A little bit of background on that, but
Interesting. Okay. Shall we read it, or
Go ahead. Do you believe it was sabotage? I mean, because I think that's the more.
Okay, do you believe it was sabotage? Okay. Do you want to read this, Duke? Because it's the same guy.
Sure. Excuse me there. Specificity of the anomalous behavior of our weather grid is experiencing does seem troubling. More troubling is that the phase inverters and power couplings on several pieces of equipment show several signs of unusual distress. However, Mount Salea is a place of peace, Captain. I would scarcely imagine what would make us a target for any hostile actions. Though the evidence we have may point towards sabotage, I am not comfortable with the assessment without having more data at hand.
Okay. Captain, I'm detecting multiple incoming transporter signals on the surface near your location. It's hard to get a lock on exactly where they are or where they're beaming in from. It must be some kind of new sophisticated sensor jamming technology. Hold on. I'm definitely detecting several transporter signals near the entrance of the monastery. I can't be sure, but it appears to be Nausicans. Okay, so Nausicans.
So we're gonna head back to the entrance.
Oh, okay.
I don't mean to lead you by the
Ready?
nose. I honestly, I want to know if there's something that's not clear to follow. So.
No, it
Shall
all
we ready?
seems pretty clear to me. They did say, you know, the Nausicans were beaming in by the entrance.
Correct.
They don't look like they're there now.
And
Ah,
there's
yeah,
an explosion that triggers behind us. So.
Oh yeah, look. Oh. I hope the children are okay.
There's something just immensely satisfying for me about killing Noskins. Plus, it makes the mission not require a level, so that's.
Yeah, that's always a good thing as well. It's the depending on the NPCs you put in, it level gates the mission.
That's captains. I'm detecting weapons fire back on the terrace. It would appear that the first squad of Nausicaans was trying to lure us away from the real target. We need to make our way back there and protect the monks before it's too late.
Right, more on.
Yeah, so I mean, I've noticed, and I think this is a similar formula to Kirkfat's missions. I tend to go for text and violence.
Okay.
I'm with you on that too.
You know, it's interesting when you're having to position mobs inside of a tunnel, because you really have to start thinking about everything in 3 dimensions.
Yeah, it must have been quite difficult working with, especially with the ceiling that you had to put in, and it blocks everything underneath, so you can't see what you're placing on the maps.
Well, there was a bug that was causing issues with pathing on platforms, but it's since been resolved. But some people are worried about republishing because it causes problems with components completing. But my mission doesn't have that. But yeah, if you do republish, you will get the pathing issues with platforms fixed.
Cool.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I wish it were possible to introduce a little bit more acting with NPCs, and everybody's still standing where they were before.
Yeah, that's one of the limitations we deal with.
And yeah, this is the interview everyone, because you're investigating a crime scene effectively at this point.
Okay.
Oh, dead Nausicaan. Interesting.
Oh.
Okay, so we need to speak to everyone. Speak to Korik again.
Yep.
It is now evident that the Nausicaans are here in pursuit of the second stone of Gaul. They stole the storage container that contained the stone. Nausicaans are generally known for being mercenary, and it's probable that the stone would fetch a high price in the right buyer. It is a regrettable necessity that I published my findings so far regarding the stone. I should have seen that it would attract regrettable attention.
You want me to read the Ferengi?
Yes, please.
Okay. Ha! I bet you wished you'd sold the stupid rock to me when you had the chance. You think you're so smart, Vulcan. The 74th rule of acquisition states, knowledge equals profit. You could have made a small fortune at the price I was willing to pay. At least enough to make your next pon farr an occasion to remember. Now you get nothing.
I think we're getting a response from the chat room saying, "Great Ferengi voice."
Yes, it was.
Okay, my regrets do not run that deep. I stated that the Nausicaans stole the container that the stone was kept in. That is correct. However, when I was informed that this area was no longer secure against unexpected transports, I relocated the stone to a more secure location. So.
And if you'll notice, the crate behind him is missing.
Ah. Do you require assistance, or where is the stone? I'm just going to say, where's the stone?
Okay.
I trust by your repute, Captain, but you'll forgive me if I don't share that detail in the presence of certain company. And Ferengi says,
"Hey, don't blame me. I've got ears for profit."
Be that as it may, Grak, I find your interest in a potentially counterfeit artifact questionable. The truth is, the DY-175 sleeper ship is likely the greater find, and I would trade a Vulcan artifact of dubious origins for that certainty of what you will find aboard the ship, Captain. I've transmitted the coordinates to the Visionary, and to my ship, and I've been informed that they are standing by awaiting orders once you're done there. Okay.
So that's how it's played.
What's that? Or very well. Curious. Should I try? I'm going to try what's that.
Nothing. Nothing at all.
Okay, interesting. And there's still 3 more people to talk to here, so...
Let's see what Stayback has to say.
Okay.
Who are you talking to?
Stayback.
Okay.
Hacks have been detected in the planetary weather grid. This information, coupled with our uninvited Nausicaan visitors, does suggest intentional sabotage. Do you suspect Grak of foul play? That is a very forward accusation, Captain. However, I did some preliminary checking. Grak does specialize in the trade of arc-wave disruptor weapons, consistent with what the Nausicaans employed in the attack. That alone is hardly conclusive, as many Nausicaans prefer disruptor technology, and the Klingon Empire has been supplying them with such weapons for years now. I am afraid I cannot be of any more assistance. We cannot take any action against Grak without hard evidence. Very well, Master Stayback.
Okay, very well. So, who's next? Janox. Okay. This show of violence by the Nausicaans was unacceptable. Our order is peaceful, devoted to truth and logic. Security records indicate that the Ferengi has employed Nausicaan mercenaries before for security, and I would advise you to look closely at him in your investigations, Captain. Still, there are no hard evidence of any connection. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, who's next?
It's just Grak. What do you want from me? A lot of people want the stone, yes, but it's only of value to a telepath or someone with... Out of here. Late. We got a dog? Okay.
I don't know.
But it's only of value to a telepath or someone with latent potential. Sure, I've got a couple of extra cranial lobes more than anyone else here, but the only minds I read are my customers. So,
So you could sell the stone, couldn't you? Or be on your best behavior, I'll be back. Let's just say be on your best behavior, I'll be back.
okay, right, yeah. If I'm at my best, you won't have a reason to come after me again. We'll see. We'll see about that.
Okay. Okay, I'm getting some strange feedback, but
yeah, I am as well.
Yeah, I was hearing that too, but what's that?
okay, so I'm gonna say the accept thingy now. Captain, Korik has transmitted the coordinates for the DY-175 sleeper ship. Unless you have proof that links are suspect to the attacks, I suggest we make that our priority for the time being, and we can return to this investigation later. Okay, beam up to the ship. Accept.
Very well.
And load screen.
Yes, don't we love them?
You know, I really think they have been trying to minimize the use of them, but I'd really like it if they could get rid of some more.
Correct.
And I'm getting your screen, so...
Excellent. Captain, we've detected a Decora-class ship trying to intercept Korik's transmission of the coordinates to us. Analysis of the registry indicates it's Kraga, the Grax ship. I propose we investigate. Okay.
Let's proceed.
Let's go.
Captain, they're not responding to our hails. It could be a communication systems malfunction on their end. Keep trying, or let's not waste any
Keep trying.
time.
Starfleet vessel, we cannot respond to your hails. Our universal translator is broken.
Ooh.
Captain, I double-checked that transmission. I'm absolutely certain that they used a universal translator to send that message. They may be lying to this.
This is my little nod to the we as a garbage scow or whatever line from The Undiscovered Country.
Which option
Yeah.
do you want to take? I think it's obvious or something suspicious.
I'll do it. I think it's obvious.
Okay.
Captain, a second Decora-class ship has decloaked and is charging weapons. Red alert. Battle stations.
Okay.
And they are behind us.
Augmented. Nausicaan Ferengi battleships. Very interesting.
Augmented Nausicaan Ferengi battleship? Okay.
You know, it's strange because I think ground combat was always more my forte even before the ground 2.0. So that's actually led me to kind of ration out my space battles. I don't know what it is. I actually had to level Klingon side, and someone finally showed me how to build my ship out properly.
That's interesting. I've always liked the ground more than the space, but I haven't had much problems with space because I think I build my characters sort of balance between both of them in terms of skills.
Yeah.
Caught me off.
Well, yeah. I mean, I always did a balance of skills. I think it's just that having played other MMOs before, the ground skills make more intuitive sense to me. There are a lot of statistics, and Cryptic tends to do this. I know back before this game launched, Jack Emmert supposedly went down to the offices and was kind of I guess, busting heads because he didn't know what any of the stats were supposed to mean. And, you know, it's I guess a blessing and a curse with the use of technobabble. That we get lots of familiar terms from Star Trek, but we don't know always what they directly translate to in terms of gameplay.
That's true.
Oh dear, my screen is frozen for some reason.
Oh boy.
Oh dear.
Your mission screen?
My game screen has crashed. Yeah, but it's back now.
Okay.
So, I think something...
So it's Dagum Nausicaan Augmented Fighters.
Yeah. Yeah, we did say something about the use of effects before, maybe.
I didn't really use any in this map. This is just a stock Vulcan exterior. It may be the presence of the fighters, but...
Okay. Just want to check. Can everybody on the live stream actually see anything? Still running. Are we still broadcasting? How about you, Leviathan? Can you see anything on the live stream?
Oh, let me check.
I'm getting
yes.
I'm
Yep,
getting yes.
still seeing everything.
Cool, excellent. Because apparently I can't see anything anymore because when my screen crashed it took everything else out with it. I can't even see my mouse.
I can see your mouse, but that would be an awkward way to play.
Well, I can't actually see my mouse cursor at the moment, so I'm not sure how I'm going to do this without a mouse, but let's just keep on going.
Well, we can lock in coordinates and engage. It looks like that's our next option.
Okay.
So
basically, Grak's chasing after the DY-175 ship, hoping to trade it for the Stone of Gaul.
Okay. Accept.
then we're off.
Okay, I'm gonna have to see if I can keep on playing with no mouse cursor.
Maybe it'll come back up after this load screen.
Play in shooter mode.
Yeah, playing shooter mode. That's gonna have to be what I'm gonna do now.
Well, yeah, at least the dialogue should pop up if the rest of us are clicking through them.
Excellent.
All right.
Okay, scan the sleeper ship.
All right. You want the summary here? Again, lots of text.
Oh, my mouse cursor has came back again. Excellent.
Okay, lovely.
Excellent. So now
I'll go through this first screen and then...
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Captain, there's a heavy shield blocking most of our scans. This is unusual. However, we can confirm it has operational life support in the main decks, which are less shielded. We can now also confirm the ship's identity based on its registry. It's the SS Startling, sir. Cross-referencing it with our records indicates it was launched by Chronoworks Industries in 2042.
No, that sounds familiar. That was from Voyager, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yep.
that was the Microsoft stand-in founded by Henry Starling, who was played by Ed Begley.
Yes, I remember that.
But that's basically what the text here will guide you back through, is the fact that there was this computer giant founded in the 20th century based on information from a crashed ship from the future.
Cool. So far we've had references back to Voyager and the original series and TNG.
Yes.
Cool. Cool.
I keep my Memory Alpha browser tab open.
Someone's saying no, not a Voyager reference in the chat room. I'm pretty sure it is a Voyager reference. It's from the episode where they from the episode where they go back in time to 1996, basically.
Correct.
Yep. let's just click on the ChronoWorks Industries link. I think that's the
one that explains.
That's where the doctor gets the mobile emitter.
Yep, that is it.
Yeah, so ChronoWorks Industries was at the forefront of Earth's golden age of computing, founded by notable technology pioneer Henry Starling, who introduced the isograded circuit in 1969. Starling himself died in a mysterious explosion in 1996, but his company continued on without him. We now know that Starling's technology was reverse engineered from a 29th century Federation timeship. The events surrounding his rise to power are a predestination paradox that is now taught at Starfleet Academy. All of the technology, systems, and advances we enjoy today are in large measure due to advances that may be made some 400 years in our own future, and the reverse engineering of those technologies on 20th century Earth.
Interesting. Shall we prepare a boarding party and just go ahead?
Yeah.
Okay, we're standing by to transport you and your away team to the command deck, where you'll be able to assess the situation. To be aboard, I'm going to let Duke choose a buff to bring along this time.
I'll bring a science buff. Yeah.
I will bring Suite 6 of 9.
Cool.
Cool. And load screen.
She's a perfect buff to bring on a Voyager referenced ship.
You know, it's one of the interesting things is I think Wishstone said we couldn't use the names of established ships, so I named the ship after a character.
Oh, I like it. I thought that. Yeah. I thought that was pretty neat. I picked up on that immediately.
Okay, we've arrived. We need to follow a very specific but simple process to bring the crew out of deep freeze. The controls need to be the controls we need should be found on the bridge, which should be located just off the corridor to our left. First, we need to hold the cooling process. Second, we need to lower the force fields. Third, we need to deactivate the cryostasis restraints. Fourth, we need to return to the bridge and do a thorough examination of the crew's vital signs.
And let's just, I'm the captain, I'll make those calls.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I'm being a little bit cautious because I know there's enemies up ahead.
Oh, alright. Oh yeah, spider thingies. Okay, let's take care of those.
I was wondering why you were kind of creeping there.
Eugenics for spiders.
Ah, man.
I can't remember where it falls in the dialogue. There's an optional dialogue somewhere that explains that apparently these spiders were genetically engineered during Khan's rise to power, and some of them must have gotten aboard the ship.
Okay, and it looks like there are consoles with flashing...
there are, in fact, and you will be directed back to these if you don't read them now.
Okay, then.
They're an optional dialogue, but they're an optional dialogue. You need to answer questions
All right.
about...
That's quite clever. Oh, and there are frozen people behind the force fields. That's interesting.
Yes.
Clothing mannequin.
Yeah, that was something I'd never seen anybody do with a costume before, but I noticed you could make sort of featureless contacts, so... This is actually a little bit inspired by the sort of puzzles you'd see in Judgment Rights. I don't know if you ever played 25th Anniversary or Star Trek Judgment Rights.
Oh, yeah. I played that one. That's quite a good game, that one.
So, yeah, everybody has... Each of the frozen crew members has a distinctive item in their quarters. And in a minute, you'll be asked to explain why each of them chose the particular item they have.
So should we go to each individual console?
Yeah, if you want. Yeah.
Grab one of these.
Because you know, you guys will need this for the questions. I suppose it's not fair if I solve my own puzzle.
I guess I'll start down on this one first.
Okay.
Subject employee ID number 37772-98-7993. Subject Genevieve Edith Van de Broek. Subject age 27. Recent log entry. This is a log entry for educational purposes, right? So it won't hurt if I give you a little history lesson so you know where I come from. I'm with the Bell riots. My folks knew unrest was brewing. The sanctuary districts across the states were implemented as a solution to overcrowding. The financing wasn't there for the problems we were facing, and the United States social infrastructure was bordering on collapse, trying to take care of the poor and the sick. The sanctuary districts were closed, and I suppose that was the right call.
Incidentally, that's now moving into Deep Space Nine references, the sanctuary districts.
I definitely remember that. As soon as it said Bell Riots, I thought about that DS9 episode with the Bell Riots.
So I was born on the 21st Street mission in the Sanctuary District, but we were trading one nightmare for another when it was closed. My father died in the riot at Clement Clark Moore Park, and I can't help but thinking we'd been better off in the Sanctuary Districts after the war started. I grew up in the mission. We didn't have a lot, but I was in a position to help people. That's the only thing that was really important in this world, in any world. Oh boy, she's still going.
Yeah, lots of text. If you want after this one, I'll feed you the answers on the puzzle.
Okay. When Mr. Aberson told me I had to bring something on the trip, I was worried. I barely owned one set of clothes, much less an Earth artifact worthy of historical study by whomever would find us. I told him that I thought material possessions were frivolous in the kind of times we lived in. So he took me to this underground bunker where ChronoWorks had all kinds of things from before the war preserved. In some cases, buildings that had been brought in brick by brick. In the middle of it all was the old-fashioned New York department store.
Yeah, so basically, I'm going to sum this up.
Okay, that's...
Yeah, she brought clothes with her because they were an example of something frivolous before the war broke out.
Okay.
If you want to move with me to each of the units, I'll just tell you what the item is and why they brought it. This is Maria Tomasi Malone. She brought beach chairs because she met her husband Wayne when he pulled up onto the beach with a four-wheeler. This is Mr. Abramson, the Chief Financial Officer of ChronoWorks, and he has no log entry. This is Mr. Boutros Aaron, the captain of the vessel. He brought a cactus because it reminded him of how living things persist through bad times. And this is James Riley Putnam. He brought a bed because when they were forced to evacuate during an air raid, his little brother forced him to carry his bed out of the apartment on his back. So he's been keeping the bed even though his little brother died. It's kind of interesting taking these Foundry assets and trying to imbue them with a little bit of story.
Gotcha.
Definitely.
And actually, Boutros Aarons, I make references to Janeway had an ancestor that was involved in the space program, I believe. There was the episode where about her ancestor meeting her husband.
Yes.
Yeah, I make reference to that in that one. So there is a reference to just about every 20th or 21st century Star Trek episode in here somewhere.
Gotcha.
But yeah, here we go. Yeah, so I would actually like to read for the puzzle, so we're coming up on
Okay.
that.
I really like this. The construction of this map is really atmospheric with the smoky, makes it feel cold and.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the feeling I'm getting.
Okay, so attempt to lower the force field.
All right. Hello, welcome to ChronoWorks Project Arc. My name is Rudolph Abramson, and unless events back on our homeworld of Earth changed
drastically for the better. I'm the sole surviving shareholder and chief executive officer of ChronoWorks. If you're seeing this message, it means that you have discovered our ship. In the interests of mutual trust and getting to know one another, you'll be asked a series of questions about us before you will be allowed to proceed.
Okay, allow me to consult with my associates. I'll be back, or proceed. Let's just proceed with the questions.
Yeah. Ah, you're a brave individual. I admire bravery. It's the trademark quality of saints and martyrs. And after the horrors my employees have seen, I don't think it's fair to them to have their nap time disturbed by anyone shy of a saint. Try not to be a martyr. I don't want to have to explain the stains on the tile to my employees when they wake up if you fail my test and get yourself exterminated. They're all innocents of a sort, and I'd hate to rob them of that. Okay, now we've got a blog entry from James.
Okay, hi, I'm James. I'm not really sure why I'm recording this, but the boss says it's part of a team building exercise. My question is, why did I bring a bed with me on the ship?
Belonged to your brother, correct?
Correct, on to round 2. You may yet prove to be the one we're waiting for, or maybe you'll just be the ones we're waiting through when we wake up. All right.
Hi, I'm Marie. I'm supposed to ask you a question to see if you paid attention to my video blog. My question for you is, why did I bring beach chairs with me?
Because she met her husband on the beach.
Judges, that is correct. You're on a roll. Let's see if you can keep it up before you get cut down.
Yeah, we were saying in the chat room, this reminds me of a game show host.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I think one of the failure comments makes a comment about that.
Okay, my name is Boutros Aaron. It's not a name you see a lot, not an easy name to have growing up. I'm the mission commander aboard the ARC project. My question to you is why I chose to bring a cactus along with me in outer space. Should be the first one, shouldn't it?
First one, yeah.
How living things persist.
And by the way, if you answer any of these questions wrong, you get ambushed by captain-level mobs that are machines.
Very nice.
Interesting, yeah. It did sound like something bad was going to happen if you got them wrong.
Yeah. Bingo, or close to it. I don't know if they play bingo where you're from. You see, to get a bingo, you need 5 in a row. You're up to 3, not too shabby. Now a word from our crew's little sweetie pie.
What's up, peoples? My name is Genevieve, but I'm Jenny to my close friends. I'm not exactly sure how a space mission led me to being asked to record a piece on listening comprehension, but if it benefits education, then I'm all for it. In my quarters on the ship, I have tons of clothes. Why would I take so many clothes with me?
Because fashion is frivolous.
Sometimes the answer you least expect is the only answer worth going for. Now, on from our ingenue, on to the main attraction, moi. I'll skip the pretense this time and lay it out for you. Why do I have a tombstone in my quarters aboard the ship? This one may be a stumper because I didn't leave any clues laying around like those other yahoos. Go on ahead, think about it a moment.
Okay,
Done thinking, here are your choices.
Yeah. Cryostasis is like having one foot in the grave, because you've outlived all your enemies, because death is the one certainty in the cosmos, or you don't take things for granted. You know, this kind of guy, I would think the fourth option would be some kind of, but I don't know.
The truth is, the correct answer is none of the above. But I'll spare you the penalty shot this time. It's not fair for me to expect you to know about me before you've met me. The reason I carry a tombstone around is because it's the ultimate luxury. I've cheated death, I'll never need one. The ultimate luxury is something you don't need. Now go in there and thaw us out.
Would it constitute a violation of regulations to throw him out of the airlock?
Oh, and one more thing in case you've developed a favorite in all of this. If one of us thaws out without the rest of us, the entire ship will auto-destruct. So don't be holding any grudges.
Guess so much for the airlock.
This man.
This man may be the textbook definition of a clinical psychopath.
Hey, I found basically to get wisecracking into missions, you have to have everybody kind of wisecrack like a Vulcan.
Oh yeah, because it could be a Vulcan saying it.
Yeah. All right. I'll take the cooling system offline. And
the smoke's
things are a little bit less hazy.
Cool.
Lower the force fields.
And now we just have to go back and awaken them and then come back and do a bioscan on them. There's lots of kind of running in circles, but I started to realize that's how a real mission gets designed more so.
Reusing bits, because you wouldn't want to go to one part of the thing and then, not use it again.
Yeah. So yeah, we just thaw them out any order.
Okay. Huh?
Yeah, you get a little pop-up for each one of them.
Looks like me before coffee, right?
5.
It itches.
Be a long time to build up an itch there too.
I see what you're saying about the the orange jumpsuits though. They really do look like orange, Were those the Enterprise outfits?
Yeah.
5 more minutes, Ma. Just 5 more.
It's funny. I pictured him with kind of a Texas type accent. I don't know if you're from somewhere in the South, aren't you?
I am. Yes, I'm from Jacksonville right now.
Oh, okay. And yeah, have to scan this cruise vital signs. Yeah, all of those are just optional pop-up dialogues. It took me a while because there are some bugs with optional pop-up dialogues.
Yeah, there are a lot of bugs with Foundry missions at the moment.
Yeah, I managed somehow to bypass all of them with this one. I'm just going to go ahead and do the vital scan. I felt like I was able to actually construct a fairly reasonable low-tech bridge. See, cruise vital scans are in good condition. Reports from other decks indicate the remainder of the crew is also in good health, and work is underway removing them from stasis. We need to investigate the shielded contents of the cargo hold to ensure the Ferengi don't salvage anything of value from the ship should they arrive unexpectedly. Yeah.
Okay, so...
And that is the door by the entrance.
Okay, let's go then.
Yep. This is actually a mission where once you, if you've got one person that knows it, you can have one person on another part of a map to avoid having to run around quite so much.
Proceed.
But you said you hadn't played this before on a team, so do you think most people play this in a team or solo?
I think most people right now at this point are playing solo. My first mission had some issues with teaming because I had like entire sets dissolving and disappearing, and if you have one person who's behind when an entire building disappears, it's kind of weird. So I tried to avoid that here. I wish that there was a trigger actually for a waypoint that would require everyone to be present.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so I'm ready to go. I've clicked on the door.
Okay.
Proceed to the cargo.
And we were just getting some comments in the chat room. They can't get over how tall Duke of Rock is. And that is funny because
he's a Vistar in the whole species.
I saw somebody on Tribble. Somebody on Tribble about 50% taller. I'm not sure if there's a bug with the free-to-play testing or what, but I saw a giant guy in Earth space stock.
No. If you've seen Duke of Rock in Champions Online, his character there is tall as well. So I think I
have a giant Voltron character there. So you have the size modifier in that game. That's a feature they have in Champions. They have
the super magnifier. I had that on on the playtest server, but I haven't brought myself to spend cryptic points to actually buy it on the real live server. But I suppose I could.
Let's see. Oh yeah. Here's where I think it did some interesting things. Captain, 2 of the crew are proving to be a handful. They're insisting on meeting with you in the cargo hold. And you have a choice between letting Jenny or James come down, both of them, or neither. And that will actually affect how this this part of the mission plays out.
Oh, interesting. So if you, depending on who you choose, it changes the sort of...
Right.
So,
What shall our choice be?
Electrics,
I'll let you make the choice. You are the team leader.
The problem is I can't remember who the hell these names are for.
Okay, yeah.
Vanderbrock was the one who brought the clothes.
Oh, yeah. Right,
Yeah,
okay.
and James was the one who brought the bed. He's the guy with the scar on his face.
Okay. Allow them both to come down.
Okay. That seems to me to be the standard default. Aye, Captain. Our team will perform a routine medical and security sweep, and then you have you'll have to access a console in the next room to manually allow Miss Vandenbroek and Mr. Putnam to allow to enter the cargo hold just to be safe. So and now we have to defeat the spiders.
Spiders again.
It looks like we got some spiders to deal with. Let's give them a
Hey, you know, whenever I start realizing I've used a lot of text, you know, it's like, okay, time to shoot stuff.
You know, I know some other Foundry author who uses spiders a lot. Have you played any missions by Old Lord Skull?
Yes, I believe I played one the other day.
Yep, spiders.
Yep.
See, I've always wanted to use the spiders actually, because they are quite fun.
Okay, long story short, let's see, your ship has sent some crew over to help thaw out the people, and meanwhile they want us to examine the cargo down here.
Right, okay.
And so yeah, there's
started flashing. Scan the cargo. Okay.
Yeah, one more.
One more over here.
Okay.
Captain, I was hesitant to even suggest this based on your scans. It would appear that the ship is carrying tricobalt weapons, polaron pulse emitters, and I cannot be certain about the third container, but based on theoretical work done at the Daystrom Institute, what is in the third container? It would appear to be some form of temporal disruptor rifle capable of annihilating a small region of space-time and a focused blast of anti-chronotons. Captain, these weapons should not exist. They are not only at a theoretical level in our time, and the principles behind them were not even developed when this ship was launched.
Interesting. So does this have anything to do with perhaps the 29th century time?
And that's where you get into, and if you've skipped the other dialogues, this is where you get the full explanation of what's going on, and actually where the title also partly comes in.
Cool. I think we know now, so should we just say understood?
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Yeah. So it's basically the leftover design.
Let you summarize on it for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So.
'Cause we
Okay.
did kind
Yeah,
of-
and
we
you know,
did
it's
kind
one of the
of-
problems with showing people from the past. We don't have assets in the Foundry to really represent the past. So by making them more advanced, then that allows me to cheat a little bit.
Okay, Captain, the force field is blocking our progress. We have to disable it to proceed. I suggest analyzing it using one of the terminals in this room.
Okay. Detecting one or more life forms in the lift area, the cargo hold must be secured before proceeding. Verify identity of life forms at this terminal. Disable quarantine and address intruders before proceeding. Of course, we just allowed 2 people to come down, so.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and then go ahead and disable the quarantine. Investigate the disturbance. We have to go back to the entrance, which is where we will find our 2 crew members we allowed to come down.
I just picked up on all the spider webs as well.
Yeah, it was really
You know, I've seen
And
this
then
map
Cat does it.
before from last week, and it had the spider
Yeah.
webs on it as well. So is this actually built into the map or something you placed down?
Yeah, and basically
Oh, okay.
what they're saying is there are security protocols that won't allow more than 5 people to go through the corridors, so they're going to climb through the heating vents to follow along with you.
Oh, that's clever because they can't move.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, that's what he says. Does she say the same thing? Or does she say something different?
They both have a little bit of dialogue with you. Basically, I set each of them up to be potential romantic interests.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and so this is something you can play with a little bit as you play through the mission. I didn't go as far with it as some people have in missions. I just, just as a little bit of flavor, you get to kind of pick your love interest. You may end up accidentally picking the guy, so that makes it a bit like Dragon Age.
All right. Okay.
But yeah, and as I recall correctly, if you allow one of them to come down by themselves, they'll be wearing less clothes, whichever one.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Captain, a
Just
Ferengi
like,
ship.
I mean, it's like wearing a t-shirt instead of a jumpsuit type thing,
Okay,
but
right.
just that little cue.
That's funny. Captain, a Ferengi ship just warped into the system and moved into position near Starling. Additionally, the Starling's transport inhibitors on your deck were momentarily disabled, and several Nautican mercenary teams are in your vicinity. It is as if someone knew the Ferengi were coming and is welcoming them. However, we haven't detected any transmissions from the Starling. Still, portions of the technology are apparently centuries more advanced than anything we have aboard the ship. Fortunately, we were able to get a scan of the deck where the inhibitor field dropped. There are several charges located up ahead. You should be able to use one of those charges to destroy the anachronistic technology before it falls into the Nausicaans' hands. We have a full team analysing the scans, but they're perhaps the most advanced future technology on record since the mobile holographic emitter. Using the technology would violate the Temporal Prime Directive, meaning that Starfleet would destroy it to avoid contaminating the timeline. Okay, however, even a few hundred people with that technology could make short work of every power in the Alpha Quadrant. The Nausicans must be stopped. You'll need to lower the force field in this room to proceed. So you're not making it easy to get through these rooms.
No, try not to. There we go, now it's lowered.
Okay, that was pretty easy. I thought there was going to be a puzzle or something. Yeah.
No. The thing is, every so often I start to feel bad for how much text I've subjected people to, so I have, I try to build up the tension, and then no puzzle.
Throw a little beam in there on him from the ship real quick.
Yeah, some people in the chat room, and
Yeah,
some
but
people in the chat room are saying, "Why destroy the 29th century technology? We could all use it." But I think they did explain it would contaminate the timeline.
Let's see, collect the charges.
Well, my orbital strike worked quite well there, didn't it?
And now here's one of the fun parts. Fun with triggers.
That's good.
I'm waiting for somebody to do like a machinima of just walking through the explosion in slow motion.
Let me do one.
And one more force field remains. And what you will find out here is that because we allowed them to come along, they took out some of the Nausicaans.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So the less you bring of them,
The more Nausicans you have, so bringing two.
But it also affects the fight in the next room.
Okay.
Because the less people you allow to come down, they'll end up coming to help you in the next fight if you didn't allow them to come down before, and they'll gather reinforcements with them.
And I see what you mean about her wearing less clothing.
Yeah. That's really my tribute to Enterprise right there. Proceed with final security override. Enterprise seemed to be the show where they just they found any excuse they could for the crew to strip down. They had that whole episode of Trip in his underwear fighting the Ferengi or something.
That's
Or
funny.
was it? Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
was it on Ryza they got taken down below by the 2 aliens?
Yeah. I figured these people were from the Enterprise era, so.
The sound
Or
of
before
weapons
the
fire
Enterprise era.
echoes.
Yeah.
There you go.
All
More
right.
seconds.
And this is the final fight for this map. Yeah, this is going to be a tough fight. I didn't think about that. I should have set some turrets down. Because this fight gets tougher the more of the people you allowed to come along.
Oh, and I'm dead.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if
This
I
is
should click the respawn just to see where you put the respawn point, but
I actually did place the respawn point in the last room, I believe, so.
okay, I'm going to try that just to make sure. Yep, there
Yeah.
I am. Pretty cool.
I have to do that because there are force fields in some cases that come up behind you, and I almost did more with that than I ended up doing, so.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, I don't think I wound up going the full route with this. At one point, I was looking at locking off the other rooms so you don't notice the fact that there are multiple copies of James and Jenny.
Oh, right. Because some people do
Right.
like running back just to check, and I think I did in my mission. I blocked off the room so people couldn't go back.
Yeah.
And get a sort of weird discontinuity going.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yep, and so they were injured by spiders in the ducts.
Now they got
That's
even
what-
less clothing on for some strange reason.
Yes,
Spiders,
because they had to climb through the heating ducts again. It's
Okay.
like I say, I was going
Sounds
for
like a
an
Brahmanic
enterprise
hurdle
field
there almost.
But Kirk Fat would be proud, I guess.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so we get to go back to the command deck. Little bit of confession here. When since I can't move people around as actors, I use this gimmick of sending you to other decks and then rearranging everybody on the command deck.
Makes sense. It's a workaround.
Yeah. So yeah, we've got to figure out why the Noskins were here, and so we've got to go back to the command deck.
Okay.
I would love to get my hands on their scripting tools.
You mean cryptic scripting tools?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I would. They seem to be able to do a lot more, like have NPCs following you around, being invincible, doing a lot more. What I would really like actually is to be able to make the button text green, so that people know which thing will close the window. Because
I would also like the randomly rotating dialogue option.
oh yeah, like
'cause
in the
that's-
puzzle that
I was thinking if you had that and you just made the text identical on all of them, you could have missions that go seemingly random directions.
that would be a good idea actually. Yeah. Okay,
Oh.
this room is familiar again.
Yeah, so basically we're trying to find out how the Noskins got aboard, what's going on, who's suspicious.
Oh, that's interesting. He's in a thingy.
Oh yeah, this little technique, a couple of them swimming in their tanks. And actually to get them to float, I had to put an invisible wall underneath them. Because otherwise they would float at ground level.
Gotcha. Well, that's pretty neat.
Let's see. Yeah, basically they're in a breathable nutrient bath. One side of the ship is that artificial gravity is a bit too intense for the human body. Fluid in these tanks gives us space to stay in shape that's considerably more relaxing. She doesn't know anything about the ship's cargo bay. Signed up with ChronoWorks Industries because she told she would have the chance to help people and get away from the fighting. Okay. But, oh, wow, there's a typo here. Didn't catch this. I said Gowdy instead of Howdy.
Gowdy. Okay.
Yeah. He's going for a swim. He doesn't know anything about the cargo bay aside from stuff down there being kept quiet. He didn't get paid to ask questions.
Right.
I was really going for a little bit of a Mass Effect vibe with the two that you have the choice between.
Oh yeah, I really like that kind of thing as well. I was influenced by Mass Effect as well when I was making my mission.
Yeah. And you get to see her husband here, although he doesn't talk.
Oh yeah, where was he? Because he wasn't in the room before.
Yeah, maybe I should have a dialogue with him. You will get to see him again later.
Okay.
Let's see. She's just glad her husband's okay. Yeah, once Mr. Abramson was injured, he refused treatment and went down there, and the next thing she knew, he was fine.
Okay.
So, clues are starting to point to the ChronoWorks guy, who, by this point, I think most players would thoroughly hate, especially if they'd had to fight the Noskin captain squads that he sicks on you.
I think some people in the chat room did say that they weren't liking him.
Yeah.
It's a game show host, and really.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. They were saying, I hate the salesman.
Yeah.
Okay, hello. From one captain to another, I wish we were meeting under better circumstances. What do you know about the cargo? I figured it was only a matter of time before you'd asked us that. I wish I knew. Truth is, Abramson was a very scary individual. He did some shady dealing with the orgs on the Yukon front and to get a hold of some old US military information from an officer in Nevada. At the same time, he's smart and values his survival above all else. He has an IQ of 248. Look, I signed up for this command because I was certain I'd be dead if I stayed on Earth. Things were getting ugly. I'll take full responsibility for whatever it was you found down there, but if you want to know what it was or how it got there, ask Abramson. I just follow orders.
It would appear, based on our readings, that Abramson is on the bridge. We should pay him a visit, sir.
Okay. Yeah,
Here we get.
Not in his room. Let's go.
Yeah. Like I say, I was actually surprised at the number of assets I was able to use to make a bridge in the Foundry, because that's one of the more limited things, is having a bridge that's connected to anything.
Definitely.
Let you guys lead on this. Ah, ha! Top of the morning to you. You've been quite chatty, Captain. If my crew asked this many questions, I'd feel like a game show host. Fortunately, they were chosen for their loyalty. I take it you've come to me for answers? And, what do you know about the ship's cargo? My old man used to hand me copies of Incredible Tales magazine. He said they were from when he was a kid, but he had to have been fudging because he couldn't have been old enough to have been around back then. Names like Julius Eaton, Albert Macklin, Hugh Campbell, they were a household name for us. Heck, I even had a book by Benny Russell, and those are hard to come by. Do you know what I'm talking about, Captain? Science fiction. And, Benny Russell, anybody got the reference on that?
Benny Russell is the, the DS9 when Captain Sisko turned into that, 19...
So I even made references to that. I'm not even sure if that fits in as true time travel, but...
Yeah, because it was kind of ambiguous, was that real or not real?
Yeah. My old man, hoo boy, he was full of vim and vigor and stories about immortal men touching the stars, but he walked out. My mom wasn't so lucky, and at 8 years old, some guy put a compression rifle in my hands and sent me off to war. My childhood was full of promises of fortune, and at 8 years old, my childhood and any ambitions of the future ended. I made friends there, powerful friends. Got a job at ChronoWorks in the mailroom. Can you believe it? Millions dying in the war, and the mail still ran like clockwork. And I will summarize. He realized after looking through ChronoWorks records that there were artifacts from the future all around, as if people were constantly time traveling to Earth. So he found uranium debris at Groom Lake, plans for a mnemonic memory circuit at a New York mission, a Nakul rifle in a German battlefield. And so he, after he realized that there had been people from the future visit Earth, he went around collecting everything he could find.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is that a reference to like that TNG episode where they found the time ships and then
I thought about that one, and I realized that that guy was from a time just before Enterprise, so he would have been too young for these people.
Yeah, but the time ship obviously came from somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that came from the 26th century.
And there was an episode of Enterprise where they found the little pod with the bigger inside, and that was the time ship from somewhere as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. So they had basically they had a choice to stay behind and use all this technology they had to improve Earth, or leave Earth behind. And this guy decided to leave Earth behind out of spite. Oh yeah, and he mentions that Zephram Cochrane worked for him briefly, and now he's startled to find out that Zephram Cochrane developed the warp drive because he thought he was just a useless drunk.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so... Oh, and there we go. Place him under arrest, and now he brought the Ferengi with him.
Captain, a tractor beam is inhibiting field around the Starling, has shut off the Ferengi ship, has engaged a tractor beam. They're towing the Starling at warp on a course for what appears to be Vulcan.
Yep.
I'll let you...
I'll do my Ferengi voice.
Yeah, do the Ferengi voice.
Ha! Hello, Captain. I came here to scavenge the ship to see if I could persuade Korek to part with the second stone of Gaal. And I get contacted by this human who has a head for business. What happened to Earth to eliminate their thirst for profit, Captain? What happened? Some kind of genetic engineering? A viral mutation? It doesn't matter. What matters is this ship contains the firepower to crush Vulcan's defenses and get a hold of the stone for my client. Now, Captain, prepare to die.
And, since I'm reading the Ferengi, you guys want to take over?
Okay.
Sure. No, I don't think that will be necessary or possible. This ship has a phaser inhibiting field in effect. Its sensors are primed and charged. If anyone even attempts violence without my authorization, a decalithium-laced protomatter missile will launch and trigger the nearest star to go supernova. That is, of course, in addition to the ship engaging in a self-destruct sequence.
I see you're a strategist. Perhaps you'd like to play a game of Dabo aboard my ship once we've plundered Vulcan. I must say, a nice bluff, Human. Now, we can detain Captain fill-in-the-blank and the away team from the fill-in-the-blank. Maybe extract some profitable secrets from them.
A bluff? No, imprisoning the captain won't be necessary. I'm rather fond of him and the company here now that we've rendered them harmless. Besides, my crew have engendered a certain loyalty to our Starfleet visitors, and I see no reason to upset my crew. Run along, Captain. I may be half mad, but I'm not malicious unless provoked. I'm certain there will be one or two members of my crew who would love to speak with you. Perhaps it would do you well to celebrate.
We're into Bond villain territory here, I realize it.
So now we return to the crew.
We're nearing the end, so...
Cool.
I'd say we're at about the 65%-ish. Okay. Basically, what each one of them are going to tell you is that the protein tanks they're swimming in block sensors. And there is an aquatic gym below decks that you can go to talk more discreetly.
Okay, interesting.
Okay. Yeah, and both of them are kind of disgusted with what the ChronoWorks guy is up to now that they have pieced it together.
Yep. And they're telling us about the aquatic tank. Just need to talk to this one now.
Great.
Yep, that's what they're saying. Let's go to the tank, wherever that is.
Yep, and we'll take the lift there. Okay.
The aquatic gymnasium. It's difficult to determine what Van de Broek and Putnam were getting at, Captain, but without further data to go on, this aquatic gymnasium is our best lead.
So why can't we just beam back out to our ships, or?
Parts of the ship are blocked off, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't they say there was a transport inhibitor somewhere? Or?
Yeah, that's what it was, yeah. Basically, Abramson has super tech, so I hand wave a lot with that. And this is just one of those places where you get an option again of which person you want to talk to. It doesn't make a difference this time, but it's kind of...
Gotcha. The ship is in hot pursuit of Starling and the Ferengi vessel. The protein tank should make it difficult for Starling's internal sensors to detect much of what's going on. We can use long-range sensors in the transporters to get one of your contacts to you undetected, but it's quite probable that they would notice 2 transports to the aquatic gymnasium. It's up to you to choose which one you want to join.
Okay.
How about Miss Van de Broek?
How about we do something different and let the chat room decide who to bring?
Okay.
Okay, so who do you want us to bring along? The woman or the guy with the scar on his face? Okay, chat room, let's see what you say. Okay, who do you want us to bring? They say the woman.
They want the babe.
Yep, Vanderbroek. Okay, let's go.
Okay. Yep, there we go.
Beaming her to your location now.
There you go, and she's scantily clad.
Even more scantily. Very nice.
And this is another map where I once again gratuitously used the fire effect for lighting.
Oh yeah, that's something we really need on these maps, because otherwise it's completely pitch black in these things.
Yeah.
They really need to add some kind of lighting controls to the Foundry.
Yeah. I would be happy with just like a few like lights that you could place places on the map.
Yeah, that's true. I had to kind of put some in the ceiling and recess them to try to make light in a sick bay I made.
Well, I have figured out one trick, and I used it kind of on the Vulcan map, is if you wedge the fire object in the middle of a door, door objects are generally just transparent enough that it'll look like there's illumination behind the door.
I see.
Okay, let's go. Let's continue on.
Yeah.
I'm talking to this. Such a romantic view, Captain. Maybe we could come back here when the fighting is over. What's important is you should know, first of all, that Abramson was bluffing. I may not have known much about the contents of the ship, but I know for certain that there are no missiles. Second, there's a security terminal in here, a private one. I can get you access, and it should get you use of your weapons again to try and retake the ship. Computer deactivate force field authorization Vanderbroek Alpha override.
There we go. You know, it's one of these security measures in effect, weapon dampening field, disengage weapon dampening field, done. There we go. Scans indicate the weaponing dampening field is disabled. We should proceed back to the command deck and attempt to regain control of the situation, Captain.
Okay.
Basically, the entire point of this map was to let me reshuffle everything on the previous map. But this would actually be too small to have real combat in it, because people would be going through walls and...
Right. So what map did you use to do this map? This is obviously an external ground map to get the water on it. So.
Yeah, it is. It's an external ground map. I think it's the Moors Clearing.
Okay.
That's kind of ingenious to do it that way.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Phasers armed and ready.
Yep. Okay. Meet with the crew. You'll notice they're all primed and ready over there.
So we meet again. Turns out while you were turning off the weapons inhibitor field, Captain Aaron, Dr. Malone and Wayne were making preparations of their own.
Wayne deserves most of the credit. He's in the secondary cargo hold dealing with the contraband weapons right now. I hope he's being careful. Of course, knowing Wayne, he never is.
Captain, your command has inspired me. Whether or not I'm an employee of Chronoworks, this is my ship, my command. And I'm prepared to fight at your side to reclaim some measure of... Did you hear something?
Ambush! We made short work of them, didn't we?
Yeah, that seemed pretty easy.
Yeah, it's kind of intentionally easy. I didn't want to kill these people before their next dialogue.
Alright, that explains it, yeah.
Yeah. We'll hold the line here, Captain. Just go get that goofball Abramson before he does some real damage. Okay. And now we're encouraged to go clear a path to the bridge. It feels to me like in the arc of an episode, you kind of have those lulls where there are people talking, and then you need to kind of spice it back up with... I mean, this mission is basically action from here. Oh, wow. That guy got me.
Ooh, he's got me too. Didn't expect that.
That is one thing with using Nausicaans as mobs is they don't always scale the best way for a Vice Admiral.
This is true.
Yeah, there's those ones that have the thing that holds you.
The chain gun.
The gun thing.
Yeah, I used that costume on my Medusic, on Spawn of Medusa, and they can be very irritating to be held by those things.
Yeah. And so...
Captain, Grak is dead.
A regrettable sacrifice, Captain. Grak had a plan to attempt to barter my technology for this device, this second stone of Gaul. Should a trade fail, he planned to use my superior armaments to take it. It's apparently quite powerful and lethal as a psionic resonator. It's strange that these Vulcans you're allied with would create a bunch of terrible weapons if they indeed helped usher in an era of peace, as some have claimed. I and my crew witnessed on Earth in the third... they probably could have ended the suffering and destruction I and my crew could have witnessed on Earth in the Third World War, but they waited like vultures until Cochrane developed warp drive, until he had something they wanted. These Vulcans haven't exactly endeared themselves to me, I'm afraid. I'm not certain if such a device would be trusted in his hands, which is why I intend to take it for myself. I've only had to trade five anti-chronoton pulse rifles to make it this far, Captain. The first for Grak's cooperation, the second for an encyclopedia, which I promptly read to bring myself up to speed, the fourth to convince the Nausicaans to abandon Grak, the fifth to ensure a fleet of mercenaries to sack Vulcan. So he's taken over Grak's plan at this point.
Okay, he's definitely not a good guy.
Yeah.
What about the third rifle, or this ends now?
Basically, third rifle he traded for, the Stone of Gaul would not be useful to somebody without psionic abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So he traded it for a substance called Kiranite, which is from TOS. It gives humans psionic powers.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because, he's a super genius. He just read the encyclopedia and said, okay, I can't use this weapon myself, so I'm going to take this drug, which is going to allow me to use it.
Okay.
Captain, the ship has managed to catch up to you. We're in orbit of Vulcan, and there's a massive Nausicaan fleet assembling that has disabled most of the planetary defenses. We need you back on board the ship. Hundreds of thousands of lives are at stake. We'll send a team to detain Abramson.
All right. Back to space.
All right. I sense a battle upcoming.
It's really interesting. I'm trying to remember who it was that was featured on Stoked last week, because he did some interesting stuff with combining maps in unique ways, using parts of buildings as props inside other buildings.
Yeah, Jake, 81 and
Jake, yeah,
who made Rise of Darkness, which was quite popular.
I've copied some of that for the next mission I have planned. So that was a really interesting mechanic.
So I advise that we defeat the attacking Nausicaan squadrons, beam over the crew of the Startling, and send teams to repair the damaged ships to assist in defense.
Oh, very good.
Okay, so here we are in orbit of a planet with some rocky things around us. Looks like, quite a bunch of Nausicaans all over the place.
Yep. And what you can do in each of these places is beam over a repair team and see where there's the Miranda down there. It's gonna join us once we repair it.
Okay, cool.
But
there you go, a repaired Miranda.
yeah, actually, somebody was pointing out to me at one point I didn't have the debris. And someone was pointing out it seemed kind of illogical for 3 Mirandas to be the Vulcan Defense Fleet, so hence the debris. That was my... Let's see. You know, it's interesting to me that ground teaming doesn't really get any easier with a group. Oh, I mean, it does some, because generally your better firepower is going to be on your captain and more intelligence. But space combat, even though you're fighting against more ships, it scales up. It just seems easier to me to be fighting as a team in space.
Yeah.
It's like if it didn't scale up, it would just be too easy.
There are differences between scaling on the ground and in space, because the ground mobs, the number of the ground mobs, they don't change. If you place down 5 NPCs, they just increase in rank, and there's always 5 NPCs. But in space,
oh, I didn't realize the rank increased.
Yeah, the ranks increase. I mean, if you're paying on an ensign level character, and then the characters are ensign level, they're always ensign level. But if you're going on a VA, that group will probably change to lieutenants. Yeah. There'll always be five of them if you place 5 NPCs. But in space, you could have variable numbers of ships.
Huh. Interesting. Okay, so we've got basically 2 more rounds of that to do.
Very good.
And then the conclusion.
Repairs, right? Too. See them over here to the right.
I noticed that these repaired ships, they're wandering around. I've never managed to be able to get the NPCs to wander properly. Actually,
you know what's interesting about that is the tech people don't know how to do it either. They told the lovely and talented Zeronius Rex was I guess inquiring on our behalf about that. And according to the tech people, we shouldn't be able to make them wander, but it works for some reason for some of us.
Weird.
Bug.
Yeah, bug that works in my favor as an author.
It was interesting. We were in the chat room this morning, and a guy came in questioning how to use some stuff in the Foundry. He says, "Are there any bugs in the Foundry?"
Nah,
didn't know quite how to answer that one. I think Reject kind of had a.
Now the thing is, I know for a fact that there are people at Cryptic who actually really do take these bugs seriously. I know. Well, let's just say I know from kind of following Jack Emmert's Facebook. The last time the Foundry was down, he was not having a good day. I think he recognizes that it's going to affect sales of Neverwinter if the Foundry's not in good shape.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know he had a Facebook page we could follow.
Yeah, well, I will concede. I'm not sure if it's entirely public. I was talking to him about some academic work. He's got a master's degree in mythology, and with his background in gaming, we've kind of chatted about that some. But he is, yeah, he is so far. I've seen him take the Foundry pretty seriously. Like I say, I think he recognizes that. Well, first of all, I think he's a fan of Stowe. Second of all, I think he recognizes that if the Foundry's not working, it's not good for Neverwinter. It's just not good. I mean, it's, you know, people will judge Neverwinter based on how it works in Stowe.
Yes, definitely. Now,
I mean, us too as authors, you know, we love the Foundry, and it drives us crazy. It's not working.
Yeah. Well, you know, I realize Jack Emmert has been kind of a cantankerous guy in his management of City of Heroes, and there were some mixed opinions on him there. But I can, as near as I can tell, he's basically right there with the forums on everything that the forums has ever said, and some stuff is just, you know, even as EP or VP of Cryptic is just out of his hands in terms of what assets they have to work with. I think that's getting a lot better though, so hopefully that'll. But actually, Galactrix, weren't you one of the people on the Foundry conference call? You have the option to call Jack in.
Yeah, that. I was going to ask you that just now. I was thinking, were you in the conference calls? Because I managed to. I was actually not.
No. The thing is, I think the thing is, I'm not a volume beta tester. I look for like the buggiest stuff I can find, and I report that. But I'm not one of the people who has like the big bulky lists like a Darren Kittler would. So I think that ended up getting me excluded from that conference call. But
I was just wondering if they were due for another one, because it does seem that people really wouldn't mind having a chat with Jack.
Yeah, I mean, he is, I think, really the biggest booster for the Klingons. Honestly, the impression I get is that they almost didn't include Klingons in this game, and he was the one riding the team the whole way. You have to include Klingons, you have to include Klingons, and they were railing against it like, we don't have the resources for that. But yeah, I think I think he's the reason Klingons were included half finished, but he's also the reason they were included. But because I don't know if you ever read his interviews, but when City of Heroes was launching City of Villains, they didn't really see a huge subscription gain out of it. And he walked away from that with the attitude that if you don't have a feature in at launch, even in a placeholder form, it's not worth including. And so I think he's the reason why they included a lot of stuff that wasn't finished in this game instead of like waiting for an expansion, was because they thought they would never get the chance to get people to look at it later. But yeah.
Have you been testing the stuff on Tribble with the new changes?
Yes. You know, I was expecting the new tutorial to be set at the Academy, so that's I like the little bits of polish I've seen so far. I mean, it's a really solid layer of polish, but I'm not really seeing a lot aside from the currency changes that constitutes more than a layer of polish.
I'm hoping it's just a first stage kind of thing. They updated the tutorial because basically it was the quickest thing they could do. But I do think that they are planning to do a Starfleet Academy based tutorial in the future. It's just that they push for time, I guess.
Yeah, I you know, the impression I get was that they were, I think they were probably planning for like free to play sometime next year, and things went into overdrive.
Okay,
yeah,
so now,
definitely. Just it's like it got out, and once it got out, it was like they had nothing to do but go forward with it.
I mean, I you know, honestly, I from what I gather from what Dan Stahl said, I think that they would have preferred to launch the game free to play. I get the impression Atari was holding them back from their desire to do games free to play, but I don't know that they were expecting on going free to play this soon. So I think it's one case where they probably are pretty compatible with Perfect World, but yeah.
Okay, so I'm at the Starling now. So should we talk to this ship? And
yeah, go ahead.
Captain, we've contacted the Starling and managed to beam her crew aboard, except for Abramson. He appears to be It appears he and a brigade of Nauticans managed to beam to the surface of Vulcan. Okay.
Yep. Yep, so we're getting a distress call from the monastery. And this goes back to what I like to talk about in Foundry missions. I try to design them around a circular design. You're going to emerge from this Foundry mission, I think we all know, at the door of the monastery.
Correct.
So it really should make sense that you wind up where you wind up at the end of the mission.
Yeah, definitely.
Makes
so,
sense.
So every mission I've done, I've tried to have some kind of circular thing, and if there's a ground door that leads you in, then you've got to wind up back at that ground door at the end of the mission. I don't know that I really have to do that. I mean, I also tend to avoid things like crazy time lapses with load screens. So, I've actually almost assembled what I would think of as a style Bible for how Cryptic puts together their missions. If you'll note, like in dialogues, if there's a punctuation mark at the end, it's actually what your captain is saying. If there's no punctuation mark and it's all every word starts with a capital letter, then it's an action that you take.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have done everything I could to copy what I've seen of the style of their missions. So,
Well, it looks like the children survived.
Yep.
It seems violence has found its way to our monastery again. Janox and I have secured the children so far. However, Korok and the children's Salat were lost in the first wave of attacks. The madman and his Nausicaans have managed to capture a second stone of Gaul and have begun a spree of wanton murder and desecration. I urge you to take whatever action you deem necessary to end it.
Okay.
Yeah. Moving into the final phase.
Let's kick some butt.
Yeah, and I will let you know up front, these fights are undertuned, but I purposely down-tuned them because of some pathing bugs, which apparently have been resolved subsequently, but I didn't want to penalize people for their bridge officers jumping off a cliff.
Alright, okay.
Oh, Captain, my Captain, our fearful trip is done. The ship is weathered every rack. The prize we sought is won. These Vulcans stood by and watched as Earth descended into blood and turmoil. They only set foot on Earth when Cochrane demonstrated the warp drive. They make me sick, Captain. I've read about you. You make me sick with your prime directive. I'll rip the secrets from their brains. I will rain fire upon their cities and make their streets run red. I guess it should be green. I thought it was the best option to take ChronoWorks' technology to the stars, but now you've held a mirror up to my sins. I see the light now. I'll rip the science from your ships and pluck the wonder from your eyes. I will take these gifts to the pre-industrial, the pre-warp, the hungry, and the war-torn. No more secrets, no more waiting for advancements or enlightenment from within. An end to war and famine, instant galactic progress for all. And the refugees, the outcasts, the meek, and the uncivilized will worship me as a god and dance on your graves until your bones are ground to dust.
Very melodramatic, man.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, that guy is nuts.
I kind of wanted to make him like a cross between Q and Khan or something.
Okay. Shall I drop a beam from the ship on him?
I can't actually target them at the moment, so they must be behind some kind of invisible wall.
Oh, no, they're not behind a wall. They're, them. Yeah, you'll deal with them in a second. There's waves out here.
Aha.
Oh, let's see.
I'll drop a beam from the ship on them, though.
Okay. And I'll get the next ones. There you go.
There we go. Let's see. We've got a pop-up and then another wave. Oh, Captain, my Captain, rise up and hear the bells. Rise up for you, the flag is flung, for you, the bugle trills. Like I say, these guys are pushovers, but it's because there was a bug on this map that was causing bridge officers to jump off the cliff, so...
Yeah. I had one in my mission that none of the bridge officers would follow you into the battle against the skinned.
It almost makes me want to write a mission around that
Like have the enemy mind control them into jumping
off a cliff, yeah.
For you, bouquets and ribboned wreaths. For you, the shores are crowding. For you, they call the swaying masses, their eager faces turning. Let's see.
Interesting, because the chat room really hopes we get to kill that guy soon.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, you will. Huh? I was really trying to see how far I could push your hatred of character here. And yeah. Sir, the commander of the Starling is insisting on speaking with you.
Captain, this is Captain Aaron. It appears that Wayne Malone didn't destroy all the Chronoworks weapons aboard the Starling. I was working with your teams on examining the cargo manifest, and it seems there was a considerable amount of explosives missing.
Sir, it appears that Wayne Malone is missing, along with some of the junior officers from the Starling. We have reports of a security breach in Transport Room 3. It would seem that Malone overpowered some of the guards and beamed down to the surface with what appears to be a large quantity of explosives taken from the Starling.
Can I read this one?
Yep, definitely.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Howdy there, Captain. I didn't have the heart to tell you. I didn't have the heart to tell my wife Maria what I had in mind, but Abramson here is bad news. We got the platform he's on rigged with explosives, gonna blow him and those alien varmints sky high. Maria was the one who loved the stars, not me. Only stars I ever cared about were the 52 on the American flag. Tell her I loved her. Tell her not to make a fuss. I know it's kind of dramatic, Captain, but I can't let Abramson get away with this. I aim to do right by these fine pointy-eared fellas, and if that means dying so that they can go on living free and eating apple pie or whatever it is they do, well, it's been a good life, Captain. Make sure Maria knows that I said that.
Oh, interesting. Oh, there they go. Wow, explosion. Malone's charges.
Detonate, Captain. Looks as though his sacrifice was in vain, unless, Captain, Miss Van de Broek and Lieutenant Putnam have forced their way to the bridge and insisting on speaking with you.
That's those two again.
Captain, we managed to find a spare detonator. Captain Aaron is preparing to bring it down to you if you give the go-ahead. This is nasty business, Captain. Go ahead.
Okay, this is nasty business, Captain. Frankly, as much as the rest of us hate how Abramson used us, I think you're going to have to be the one to set off the charges. We're ready to send the detonator down on your signal.
Sir, with the grade of weapons Abramson has at his disposal, his own weapons may be the only thing that can even touch him. I recommend you listen to him on this. Beam down the detonator.
And here we go. Galactrix, I think you should do the honors on this.
Okay, excellent, cool. I'm gonna just do activate charges.
No!
Oh, and they've fallen down. Excellent, that's so cool.
You notice some lingering explosions.
Oh, and they're jumping around.
Man, you took out the whole platform. That's sweet.
That is cool.
All right. We're about 3 dialogues from the end, or 3 dialogue trees.
Okay, cool. Let's speak to Genevieve first. For some reason, my pop disappeared. So, has anyone else got that one?
Oh yeah, I do. It's been a very long day for all of us, Captain. Tomorrow will be a new day. I hope to see a lot more of you in the future.
Okay. Okay, speak to James now.
Okay.
Do you want to read that one? Because you've been doing his voice
sure.
so far.
Okay. Me?
Yep.
Or no, I think he
Yep,
has.
yep. Oh,
Okay.
or Duke has? I don't know which one.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay.
The ship is anchored safe and sound. Its voyage closed and done. From Fearful Trip, the Victor ship comes in with Object 1. He was quoting a poem by Walt Whitman, Captain. He was crazy, Captain, but I think maybe he had a point about your non-interference. Earth could have used any help it could have gotten from the Vulcans. Maybe I'm just tired. I think I need to sleep.
Cool. We have word from the ship that Stabek has requested to speak with us before we depart. Okay. Just want to say that the chat room's glad that this guy's got clothes on again.
Oh, it said what?
They're glad that James has clothes on again.
Oh, yeah.
They much prefer to see the woman naked.
I was trying to be equal opportunity. And this is actually a recent addition, based on some feedback. So, but it kind of closes and reopens one of the plot lines.
Electrics, you gonna take the honors on this?
Yep. This has been a costly reminder of how old wounds do not easily heal, Captain. The loss of Korek's life in the assault by Abramson and his Nausicaans will have impact, to be sure, but there are more troubling implications. Today, there has been a revisitation of the errors of two peoples, human and Vulcan. It would appear that we have more to learn from the past than Korek's focus on simple bacteria analysis. We have much to learn from.
Apologies, Captain, but if you'll recall, Grak has a buyer lined up for the second stone of Gaul. I have taken the liberty of analyzing an encrypted subspace communicator that was found on his body, and it would appear that he received a message just a few moments ago. I'm patching it through, Captain.
Listening post Hephaestus to Grak. This is Officer ID 112K35. Our operations have been compromised. Measures have been taken. Report to our facility in the Sol sector. There you will...
Ooh, interesting. Duke, do you want to keep reading that one because it's the same bridge officer?
From there, the rest of the message appears encrypted using a technique that is most typically associated with the Tal Shiar. That would explain how the Ferengi seem to have such advanced war-grade technology aboard their ships. They seemed formidable, even by the standards of the average weapons dealer. News of the facility in the Sol sector would be most surprising. I will send word to command.
Okay, two options. Acknowledge or I recognize that agent. Because that was a tie-in with the Romulan thingy, wasn't it? The Romulan series. Okay, I'm going to say I recognize that agent. Aye, Captain. Analysis confirms it's Colonel Hakiv, a known Tal Shiar operative. We have what should be very hard confirmation of his death, but matters are rarely simple where the Tal Shiar is concerned. So what, he's alive? What?
I thought he was
Okay.
It
Yes,
seems you have other matters to attend to, Captain. And if it involves the Romulans, then it would involve very old wounds indeed.
Okay, and that's the end of the mission. I'm gonna give it my rating. 5 stars. Because it was really excellent.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back and run it through myself so I can go through all the text.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's just really not time in a live podcast like this. You might be able to go through one of the branches, but you know, there are some places where it branches in so many different directions. One playthrough is not going to get you all the text.
Definitely. I mean, one of the reasons why we're doing this is to hopefully showcase some of the missions and try to get people to play them through properly, because obviously we can't fit everything into the live shows. But hopefully that's got people thinking in the chat room, yeah, I want to play this mission and read all the interesting stuff, because you have crammed a lot of references to almost every series in here.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty well done.
I hope that explosion satisfies people's bloodlust for
that big explosion was very excellent. I like seeing missions that have like, oh my god kind of moments that really impress you. And I want to thank you for joining us and showing us the behind-the-scenes tour of the mission as well, because
it was an absolute pleasure. I hope to have more missions to share with you guys in the future.
Definitely.
Yeah,
so,
you had some very good voices there. I loved your Ferengi and your game show host, Abrams.
Hey, tell Cryptic they should hire him.
Yes.
They've got a new Enterprise bridge crew coming up. I don't know if they have voices for everyone.
Okay, so that was Broadcast UGC Episode 3. I'm Galactrix, and I'm also here with my host, Duke of Rock. Say bye.
Bye-bye. Enjoyed it, folks.
And thanks for Leviathan99 for joining us too. Say goodbye.
Live long and prosper.
Yes, definitely. Live long and prosper, everybody. Thank you for watching, and good night.
Good night, folks.